Hey guys, welcome back. And for another week of light trading. I am actually out of the East Coast now. It was way too cold over there. I'm back in the West Coast. It's still kind of chilly here, but I can wear a light hoodie in Las Vegas, Nevada. Pretty psyched. So I have a lot of trades to go over this week. Once again, I'm sizing up a little bit, but they're still way smaller than my normal trades, trying to get back into swing of things. Anyway, let's get right into it. If you take a look at BYND stock, I've traded it before. I've been faked out many times by it before, and this time is no different. I took a short position on BYND at $147.30. It's been a long time since I've traded BYND. I took a small position of 100 shares. And very quickly I covered as I realized my directional guess over the next few minutes was wrong, and BYND continued to run the tape up. I think I covered literally within 2 minutes. Once again, I saw the tape move against me, so I covered it at $123 loss. It's not an outrageous loss for the way BYND trades. It does move very drastically in either direction. And one of the main reasons I covered it so early is I get into trades very quickly without doing a lot of research as a very active trader. Sometimes I'll get into trades when I think the tape is really moving in that direction and then follow it up with some due diligence. And this was the case with BYND. And when I looked at the daily chart and how it dropped from about $200 a share to about $147, within a month, I decided it was in my best interest not to play the short, definitely not beyond an intraday, but be very, very nimble with it. And quite frankly, I had decided the odds were not on my favor. I felt like as a swing trade, it had a better chance of going higher. Having said that, I decided I didn't want to play the stock at all. I just got out of the position with $120 loss. The next trade I want to talk about is AMWL. I was very fortunate enough that the last time I sold it, it was around 34. I decided not to pick it up in any of the dips. It's kind of the beauty of not looking at the market or individual stocks on an everyday basis sometimes. I didn't trade BYND for a long time. I didn't realize it hit $200 a share. And the same case with AMWL. I looked down and I was like, oh, wow, it's $26 and change right now. And I'll pick up 1,000 shares at this price. I figured it was a good swing trade. I took a 1,000 share position on AMWL. And for those of you who don't know anything about AMWL's business, it's a teledoc company. I think with coronavirus, COVID, a potential second wave, it might not be the worst time to pick it as a swing trade. So that's exactly what I did. When I purchased it, it's not 100% liquid. You can kind of see I made 2 attempts, one around $26.18, but the final one that executed was $26.26. But even when you go to trade, you don't see it oftentimes trade cent by cent. You can easily see a 6, 7, 8 cent jump between ticks, as well as huge spreads between bids and asks. In that sense, it's a little bit trickier to trade, but I went ahead and picked up 1,000 shares at $26.26 was when I got filled, or where I got filled. And I actually sold it the following day at $26.94. I guess in this case that would, oh my God, that's like a $700 or so profit. I can't do math anymore. I rely on computers too much. You know, overall it was a pretty good trade. I'm happy with it, except for the fact that AMWL hit $30 and change like the very next day. Had I actually just waited even a couple more hours or until the very next day to offload it, I would have been up several grand. Essentially the story of this week. The markets were just powering through and I was still playing small ball here. So the next trade I want to talk about is me averting disaster on Uber. Uber and Lyft both had a great day on November 4th. They won a legal settlement against them, which simply would not work for their business model and would make it very difficult for them to operate. Based on the settlement, they had quite a move up. I decided to play a little bit momentum. I don't oftentimes take a momentum position. Purchased 500 shares of Uber at $40.06 on November 4th. And I Basically bought it when I was looking at the chart. It looked like it was gonna be bouncing higher from that point. But once again, I was totally faked out like I was with Beyond Meat, and it took another dip lower. I was stuck holding the bag. I almost lost $400 at one point when I was actually debating whether to cut my losses or not. It also made another attempt at a bounce. That attempt also failed and it dropped lower. Usually the double attempt is a good time to cut your losses. I decided I was gonna hang in here. I wasn't gonna do my martingale approach, which is buying another 500 shares on this dip. I was just gonna let the trade breathe, and breathe it did. I was out of the trade for around $40.16 for a $45.80 profit. I'll take it, considering at one point it was gonna cost me about $400. I wanna talk about two other trades, which is not typical of me to do, and something I'm personally learning myself. I don't really trade penny, or in this case, penny-ish stocks that were going up on heavy momentum. Not usually my trading style at all. I really hate this kind of trading because if you mistime it and the momentum goes against you, typically these trades drop like a rock. Coty was actually already up around 21% at the time of my trading, so it's already had a huge move. Picking it up now is sort of a risk because obviously it's already up 21%. People could start dumping it that have made a lot of money on it or have recently purchased it or have been pumping and dumping it for it to get to 21%. So I bought it around $4.06, and I was just sitting there watching the tape for a while after looking at the charts, seeing many attempts at breakouts that have all failed. I decided to take my 1,000 shares off, making about $34.95 profit. Obviously, these are trades I'm hoping would profit more, but I'm gonna take what I can get. I refuse to hold the bag. Sometimes being very paranoid about holding the bag does cost you big opportunities. So these types of extremely parabolic moves rarely occur. And the move I want to talk to you guys about was Aurora Cannibis. At the time of me even taking interest in it, was already up 41% on an intraday basis. So huge move. A lot of pumping, a lot of day traders putting their money into it. Obviously, when you buy here, you're at risk. There could be mass selling of people who've just pumped up the stock and won out because they're up 41%. I decided to pick up 1,000 shares, was gonna play it super snug, super carefully. It was not a clear move up. It looked like it was starting to struggle. There was a potential that people would start fading the move. Let me put it to you this way, compared to names I normally trade, which is big cap tech, S&P futures, if I see tape that looks like this, I'm getting out. When it fell down to 905, I felt like it was a good time to take my money off. I made $120. I sold it. I come back and take a look at it later on in the day. It's over $11 a share. It went from parabolic to super parabolic. There was a time I could have sold it for several $1,000s worth of profit rather than $120 worth of profit. I'm not ready to gamble right this second. In the future, I might let a trade like that run a little bit longer. Anyway, that's it for me this week. I'm trying to do a lot more trades that aren't S&P mini futures, Dow mini futures, or just SPY DIA. That's kind of my bread and butter, but I can imagine how boring it is. It's also a good learning experience for me. I'm not that knowledgeable about trading penny stocks. It's been 10 years since I've done penny stocks. I started doing penny stocks when I first was getting into trading, and since I've built up a bankroll, I haven't really done much of it now. So I'm very out of touch with how these types of names trade now. Getting back into that. So hope you all stay tuned. Maybe we can learn together. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week.
I just want the money, 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 money.